Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I could do a long introduction, but I think I'm just going to jump right into it because I think this thumbnail is going to tell you that I live on this boat for $250 a month. That's true, but it's not true. So I've lived on this boat since September, and there's a couple other videos. You can scroll back and take a look at them. But I've lived on this boat since September, and from October on, the most I've paid in 1 month is a little over $250, right? So I'll break it down for you here in a second. So why do I live on this boat? I am active duty. I've been a Marine for about 25 years, and I used to live in this area. So this is Woodbridge, Virginia. So it's basically a suburb of Washington, D.C. And we used to live in Stafford, Virginia. And then after I came back from Japan, I moved to Camp Lejeune. And that's where we're going to stay. But they asked me to come back one last time. I was supposed to retire there. They said, can you come back one last time and do a job you have unique qualifications for? And I said, yes, fine. So I'm retiring here in a few months, and I knew that if I was coming back, I wanted to live somewhere cheap, somewhere inexpensive. And the first option that I looked into was the RV. The problem is Quantico, where I'm stationed, used to have an RV park. They don't anymore. About 10 years ago, they closed down the park there and started trying to get rid of a bunch of explosives, because there used to be a bombing range. So they haven't opened that part back up yet, but maybe it'll be right after I leave, who knows. But that's a big deal in and of itself because of how much, I don't know how much that would cost. But if you know this area, if you ever try to visit DC, what you will know is that, can you see it? There it is. There's not a lot of RV parks in this area. The Prince William Forest Park is one. That's probably the closest one to us here, but they don't have monthly rates, and I think they're closed part of the winter. The other Army base is a little too far away, but also don't see monthly rates, and everywhere else is that has a monthly rate is over $1,200 a month, and I didn't want to spend that. So I decided to look into what it would cost to live on a boat. My son used to work in a marina up in Stafford, Virginia, while I was in Japan, and they had all kinds of amenities, and I knew it couldn't be that expensive, right? Also, I didn't have a boat, so I had to buy a boat, and I have plenty of videos on this boat. Just go back in the playlist this boat is on, and you'll see. What I didn't want to do is buy a boat that I didn't want to buy a boat that I couldn't afford. So I think my top limit was probably 20 grand. I didn't want to spend that. I bought this boat for 8,000 bucks, put a couple thousand into it. So I'm all in a little over 10 grand. So that's actually affordable for a cabin cruiser you can live in that runs. Still needs a little bit of work. It's super weathered, so paint and all those things need to be done. But I moved into the boat. So I should get to how much it costs, right? And why it is, but isn't $250 a month. So that's the slip fee, or I'm sorry, not the slip fee. That is the Liveaboard fee. So at this marina, there's also have to say that the marina in Stafford I want to live at doesn't allow liveaboards. So even though I only live here on the weekdays, that's a thing. Also, other marinas in this area, very few allow liveaboards, and a few that do only allow a few at a time. Also, Quantico has a marina, but they don't allow liveaboards. They stopped that in like 2019, I think. So that just leaves me with telling you finally what my cost breakdown is. So first, the Liveaboard fee is $200 a month, and that's there's a bathhouse up there. I use the bathhouse to shower if I don't shower at work after working out, or and I use the bathroom in there, right? Also, I have water. This boat didn't have a dockside water hookup, so I hooked that up. So I use the dockside water, and in the wintertime, I had to walk up to the bathhouse. They had a faucet there, and I just filled the tank here. So all that stuff does work. But the toilet in here doesn't actually work. I think I could fix it with a valve, the duct valve. I actually bought it, it's sitting there, but I don't use it. So that pays for the water, using the facilities, parking, throwing my trash away, all those things. Then there's an electricity fee, and I don't think I've ever paid more than $29 a month for the electricity fee, and some months it's like 12 bucks. So it's actually very inexpensive, even when I run a heater, multiple heaters, the bilge heater, air conditioner, interior heater. I was surprised, especially in the wintertime when I left, and I had 2 bilge heaters, one that I think it's not supposed to be used, one that says it's supposed to be used here, but others say it's not, and then one definitely not supposed to be used in a bilge, and then the radiant heater inside. Yeah, I use those, and still $29. I never broke 30 bucks. The one fee I don't necessarily count, but I kind of counted that $250 a month. I store my trailer here. I can take the trailer home, but it's 35 bucks a month to store my trailer. So that gives me the rough price of about $250 a month. Okay, so why is that not the actual cost? Well, it's not the actual cost because the slip fee, and for this boat, this is a 26-foot boat. Now they do range in sizes, in fees, and let's get another train here. Let's get another train view there. That bridge is kind of fun here. Right on the other side of that trestle is the Potomac. So, but yeah, looking at their fees here, and I just paid the annual fee because you get a little bit of discount, a couple $100 if you pay the annual fee. So in September I paid the fee. So up to 21 feet, it's $1,800. The quarterly fee is $500. So you can break that down quarterly and pay that quarterly. For a 22 to 27 foot boat, it's $2,350 with a quarterly fee of $650. And then a 28 to 34 foot boat, $775 quarterly, $2,800, and then 35 to 40 foot boat, and obviously there's much less slips, fewer slips for those boats, $850 quarterly and $3,100. So when you do the math, $2,300 divided by 12 is just under $200 a month. When I was deciding to live here, I was looking for a room. I don't think I finished my story, right? My second option was renting a room, and in the crappiest neighborhood, in a house that didn't have any marketplace listings that were in English. The cheapest room, no frills, no bathroom, everything shared, no parking on the street typically or down the road. $600, cheapest one you could find. I didn't want to spend, that was about my limit, and I said I would go to $800 if it was affordable, or it was a good spot. If you wanted a bathroom, if you wanted your own private bathroom, you were spending close to $1,000 in this area. So if somewhere nice, right? So that just didn't necessarily become an option, and I kind of wanted a boat. So when you look at $200 a month, if you break down that the fee up, right, obviously you can pay it quarterly, but I paid it the entire year. So I think I got a little bit of a discount on that stuff. I paid the whole thing, so it might have been like $2,100. Regardless, let's just say it's $200 a month if you broke it down for the slip fee, and then $250. So really, I'm all in at $550 a month if you look at it as a monthly fee, which is still extremely cheap. And then that doesn't necessarily count the cost of the boat, right? So if you took out a loan or something, the boat could be a thing. But it was so cheap, we bought it. So we own the boat, and I only pay technically $550 a month, but really, like I said, since October I've only been paying $235, $245 a month. So that's the breakdown. Sorry if you came here thinking you're going to find something for only $250 a month, but it's not too much more expensive, right? So if you got a boat, and you want to live in it, you got to find the right marina. I think this one did there was when I came in at the end of the season, so there were a few, and I know every now and then it does get full, so it may be hard. And there's only a handful of liveaboards here, so it's not it's extremely quiet in the wintertime. I'll tell you. I think when I slept here in a snowstorm. Great video on that. Had to shovel my way out, and I don't remember anybody else getting out of their boats. Because I use the bathroom there, so I had to shovel my way out. But that's why it's it's June and I still have a snow shovel. I just haven't taken it back yet. But I also haven't taken this boat out, so maybe one day I'll take the boat out, but I haven't done that yet. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to know about this place, right? Like, it's on Nebsco Creek, Neabsco, Nebsco Creek. There's 2 more marinas in this that's farther in the creek. Neither one of those allow liveaboards. In fact, the one next to us here literally took technically every single boat out of the water. The 2 rows that have the lifts, some boats stayed on the lifts, but the rest were out of the water. Here probably had more boats than both marinas combined. Probably 10% of the boats here stayed in the water. The rest were parked all on land. And the next marina over, most of their boats came out, but they do have this covered awning area. Some of those boats, bigger boats especially, stayed in the water. But other than that, all the rest of the boats came out. And there's no bubblers here. The only time they used a bubbler was where the lift is. They bubbled that. It only really froze over here a couple times. But other than that, it stayed really warm. I didn't lose power at all, which was good. And especially in the wintertime, it's very quiet. And right now it's June 5th, and one family just came back. They just took their boat out, and I think the other liveaboard guys behind me, he just came out to do something on his boat. Actually never met him, and that's it. Anybody else? There's nobody else here. So when I get off work and I'm here at I get here at 5:30 or 6, there's hardly anybody here. Just the office workers who work till 6, I think, or 5, and then the other guys go home at 4 or something like that. 4. But that's it, man. The boat life, I would tell you, is not for everybody. This is a small boat. It's very claustrophobic. Not for me. I don't mind it, but for others, it can definitely be claustrophobic because it's very small. There's some other, you can buy a boat. The other boat I looked at for 20 grand was a bit bigger. It had a dedicated this does have a dedicated dinette, and I've got a video where I do a full walkthrough, but that one did have another dedicated dinette that was totally separate from the bed. Those are nice too. That one also had double engines, but it was more than I wanted to spend. Also, this one is trailerable, so this one is a perfect example. And hey, if you're in the market and you want to buy my boat, I will give you a discount. I mean, like I'll give it to you for what I paid for it in come the end of September, and then you take over the slip fee and live on this boat for $550 a month, but $230 really. So that's the plan. I'll leave all the heater and everything else in it, right? But I don't get a lot of views, so somebody who wants to do that probably won't see it. But it's a great thing for active duty military in the area. There was a guy here, I think he's somewhere else. In fact, maybe that guy over there, maybe I did meet him earlier at the beginning of the middle of the winter. They put the boat in and parked it over here. He was borrowing a slip, and he said he's actually a flight attendant, so I think he travels up to Dulles and he flies and then comes back, or Dulles or Reagan, I can't remember. So that might be him, actually. It looks like his boat, but he was parked next to me. We talked a little bit, and then he pulled his boat out, and I haven't seen him again because this row is full. So I'm actually the only person on this dock, which is also nice. So only liveaboard on this dock. But that's it, guys. I'll leave you with the train, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. But yeah, it's a simple, quiet life. I don't live here on the weekends. I'm sure the marina's pretty busy on the weekends, but I go home to North Carolina on the weekends and work on my projects. So yeah, that's the boat life, liveaboard life. So let's check out the trade.